Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins are facing a brutal blow just as training camp ramps up, and it's not the kind of setback any team wants before a crucial season. Kader Kohou, a cornerstone of Miami's secondary and one of the defense's most reliable players, is officially out for the entire 2025 season. The news, broken by ESPN's Adam Schefter, confirms a devastating knee injury sustained during Saturday's practice session. Kohou's absence leaves a glaring hole in a defense that's already trying to redefine itself following major offseason shakeups. Miami's defense took serious hits this year. Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Steelers and Jevon Holland signed with the New York Giants. Now, the Dolphins have lost another key piece in Kohou, a player who is coming off a career year. Timing couldn't be worse. And with expectations still high for head coach Mike McDaniel's squad, the pressure is now in the front office to act swiftly and wisely. Given the depleted state of Miami's secondary, analysts are already calling for the Dolphins to make a strategic move before the season begins. Seth Walder of ESPN has proposed a bold, yet logical trade idea that could potentially stabilize the Dolphins' defense and keep their playoff hopes alive. His suggestion? Miami should send a 2027 sixth-round draft pick to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for two-time Super Bowl champion Joshua Williams. At first glance, it might seem like a low-risk gamble. But when you look closely, it's exactly the kind of move a contending team makes when it's trying to salvage a tough situation. Williams may not be a household name like Ramsey or Holland, but he's been part of one of the most successful franchises in recent memory. His playoff experience and defensive versatility could be the steadying presence Miami needs in its backfield after Kohou's injury. Now, let's be real. Replacing Kader Kohou isn't a plug-and-play situation. The guy was coming off a stellar 2024 campaign. In fact, he was targeted 69 times last season and allowed only 45 completions, totaling 419 yards and just 2 touchdowns. His passer rating, allowed of 79.3, was the best of his career, showing real growth in his coverage skills. Losing that kind of production is no small thing, especially when it comes at a position as critical as cornerback. Kohou had developed into a reliable force in man coverage, offering McDaniel flexibility in his defensive schemes. More than just stats, his instincts and field awareness allowed the Dolphins to disguise coverages and blitz packages more effectively. That's not something you just replace with a practice squad call-up or late camp signing. Any replacement has to offer real upside, not just a body in a jersey. That's where Joshua Williams comes in. While he hasn't been a full-time starter for Kansas City, Williams made his snaps count every time he was called upon. In 2024, he played in all 17 games, starting 6 of them, and he was impressively efficient when targeted. He allowed just 16 completions for 160 yards, gave up 1 touchdown, and held opposing quarterbacks to a passer rating of 77.4 on 31 targets. That's high-level production for a rotational cornerback. He also recorded 33 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 6 pass breakups, numbers that suggest he's not just a coverage guy, but someone who can make plays at the line of scrimmage as well. The potential is clearly there, and under the right coaching and increased playing time, there's no reason to believe he couldn't replicate or even exceed Kohou's output. Of course, every potential trade comes with one looming question. What's the cost? The Dolphins are currently ranked 28th in the NFL in available salary cap space, sitting at just $12.3 million. That's not exactly a war chest, and every dollar has to be accounted for. Fortunately, Joshua Williams' contract makes this trade not only possible, but downright practical. He's still on his rookie deal and is due to carry a cap hit of only $3,057 million for the 2025 season, the final year of that deal. That's a manageable number, even for a cap-tight team like Miami. And if all it takes to land him is a 6th-round pick in 2027, then we're talking about one of the best potential value trades left before the season kicks off. No first-round risk, No bloated contract, just an experienced, talented corner ready to step in immediately. And let's not forget the intangibles Williams brings to the table. He's been part of a championship culture in Kansas City, and that kind of pedigree is invaluable. Winning 2 Super Bowls isn't just about talent, it's about preparation, execution, and mental toughness, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Williams has practiced against some of the best offensive minds in the league, week in and week out. He's played meaningful snaps in the postseason. He understands what it takes to win in January and February. Bringing a guy like that into the Dolphins locker room could pay dividends beyond the stat sheet. He can mentor younger players, raise the bar for preparation, and help enforce the kind of championship standard that Miami is striving to build under McDaniel and general manager Chris Grier. Now, while skeptics may point out that Williams hasn't held down a full-time starting role, that criticism doesn't hold up under deeper scrutiny. Kansas City's defensive backfield has been stacked in recent years, and competition for snaps is fierce. The fact that Williams has consistently been part of the rotation and performed well when called upon speaks volumes about his readiness and reliability. Remember, sometimes being a role player on an elite unit is more telling than starting on a bad defense. He's proven he can step in and not just survive, but excel. The Dolphins don't need a Pro Bowler right now. They need someone who can lock down assignments, communicate effectively, and provide stability. Williams fits that bill perfectly and has a chance to flourish in a system that gives him more opportunities to showcase his skills. Looking ahead, this trade wouldn't just be a short-term patch. It could also serve as a long-term evaluation. If Williams thrives in Miami, he could become a foundational piece of the defense beyond just 2025. With his rookie deal set to expire, Miami could explore a reasonable extension if he proves to be a good fit, helping to secure the secondary without relying on high-priced free agents. On the flip side, if it doesn't work out, the financial risk is minimal, and the Dolphins can walk away next offseason without cap repercussions. It's a textbook example of a low-risk, high-reward transaction, and in today's NFL, those are the moves that often define a successful front office, especially for a team like Miami, which finds itself in a playoff bubble every year. Smart roster management can make all the difference. The Dolphins need to make this move, not just because of injury, but because of what it signals. Trading for Joshua Williams would send a clear message to the locker room and fan base alike. This team isn't folding after one setback. It's doubling down. It's saying we're not going to let injuries derail our momentum. That kind of confidence can be contagious. It can elevate the locker room. It shows belief in the roster, belief in the coaching staff, and belief in the season ahead. And let's be honest, fans want to see urgency. They want to see action. They want to know their front office is working just as hard as the players. Bringing in a 2-time Super Bowl champion for a late-round pick. That's action. That's urgency. And most importantly, that's smart football management in a league that doesn't wait for anyone. Ultimately, whether or not the Dolphins pull the trigger on this deal could come down to how aggressive they want to be in 2025. Are they satisfied with riding out the year with internal depth? Or do they believe this is a team that can still compete in the loaded AFC? With Tua Tagovailoa entering another pivotal season, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle still in their prime, and McDaniel refining his offensive philosophy, this isn't the time to take a step back. It's a time to fortify the roster and keep pushing. Joshua Williams might not be the flashiest name, but he checks every box Miami needs right now. Experience, production, affordability, and championship DNA. The Dolphins have a decision to make. And if they're serious about 2025, it should be an easy one. Call the Chiefs, make the deal, and keep moving forward. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? In a move that's sending ripples through the NFL community, superstar running back DALVIN Cook has reportedly landed in Miami, fueling intense speculation that he's about to ink a one-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. While no official announcement has been made by the team or Cook's representatives, multiple sources close to the situation have confirmed his arrival at Miami International Airport late Tuesday night. Fans who happened to be at the airport couldn't believe their eyes when they spotted Cook stepping off a private jet and being escorted by what appeared to be Dolphins personnel. Social media erupted with blurry photos and grainy videos, adding to the mounting frenzy. The timing couldn't be more intriguing, especially with training camps heating up and rosters still in flux. Is this a late off-season power move by Miami? Or just a coincidental visit? One thing is certain, the football world is holding its breath that Dalvin Cook, a four-time Pro Bowler and former Minnesota Vikings standout, has been a hot commodity since hitting free agency. After a short, underwhelming stint with the New York Jets last season, many analysts questioned whether Cook still had enough gas left in the tank. However, insiders suggest that Cook has spent the offseason training with an elite performance team in Florida, focused on getting back to peak form. Could this new Miami connection be more than just geographical convenience? A move to South Beach might be the perfect reset for the veteran back, who's looking to prove the doubters wrong. The Dolphins, for their part, have a history of betting on comeback stories. Just look at how they handled Tua Tagovailoa's turnaround. If Cook joins the dynamic offense, he could become the missing piece that elevates them from playoff contenders to legitimate Super Bowl threats. But is this reunion really happening? What makes this potential signing even juicier is the Dolphins' current backfield situation. Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane have shown flashes of brilliance, but neither has proven they can carry the full load through an entire season. Injuries, inconsistencies, and limited experience have left Miami's running game in question. That's why the idea of Cook, an explosive downhill runner with elite vision, donning aqua and orange, has fans salivating. Imagine Cook lined up behind Tua, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle stretching the field. Defensive coordinators would have nightmares trying to contain all that speed and versatility. And let's not forget head coach Mike McDaniel, a creative offensive mind who knows how to get the best out of his weapons. Cook could thrive in McDaniel's zone blocking scheme, similar to what he ran in Minnesota. Could this be a match made in football heaven, or is it just a tease? It's also worth noting the financial implications of a potential one-year deal. A short-term contract would give Cook a chance to reestablish his value without locking Miami into a long-term commitment. This kind of prove-it deal has worked for plenty of veterans in the past, including players like Leonard Fournette and Cordarrelle Patterson. If Cook lights it up, he could cash in big next offseason. If things don't pan out, the Dolphins wouldn't be left with a bloated contract. That said, the numbers will matter. Miami is tight against the cap, and fitting Cook into the budget could require some creative structuring or roster moves. Would they be willing to cut a younger player to make room? Or perhaps restructure another contract? These are the questions front offices wrestle with when chasing championships. And if the rumors are true, Miami might just be ready to roll. The dice. Adding fuel to the fire is the fact that Cook has long expressed admiration for the Dolphins organization. Born and raised in Miami, Cook was a high school star at Miami Central and grew up watching the Dolphins. Returning home to play in front of family and friends would be a full circle moment for the 28-year-old. In interviews over the years, he's never been shy about his love for the city and his football culture. Could sentimentality be playing a role in his decision, or is this strictly business? Either way, the narrative is compelling. A hometown hero coming back to chase a title with his childhood team? Hollywood couldn't script it better. It's the kind of feel-good story fans rally around, and one that sells a lot of jerseys too. If Cook ends up signing, expect hard. Rock Stadium to erupt in cheers every time he touches the ball. Meanwhile, Dolphins fans have gone into full detective mode, tracking every movement and post on social media. Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok have become battlegrounds for clues. Some are analyzing flight paths and hotel check-ins. Others are refreshing the Dolphins' official account every 5 minutes, hoping for confirmation. Cook himself has been unusually quiet, neither confirming nor denying the rumors. That silence is deafening. In the world of professional sports, no comment often speaks volumes. Could he be negotiating behind the scenes, waiting for the ink to dry? Or maybe he's just enjoying watching the internet explode. Either way, the longer the mystery drags out, the more hype the situation becomes. And let's be honest, Miami loves a good spectacle. Whether it ends in confetti or heartbreak, this story has everyone hooked. From a strategic standpoint, this could be a genius move by the Dolphins front office. Bringing in a veteran like Cook adds leadership and experience to a relatively young locker room. He knows what it takes to grind through a long season and how to handle playoff pressure. That kind of presence is invaluable in a team aiming for sustained success. And let's not overlook the psychological impact on the rest of the roster. A big-name signing sends a clear message. This team is all in. It elevates expectations and forces everyone to raise their level. If the Dolphins want to keep pace with the Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals, they need every edge they can get. Adding Cook could be a difference maker, not just statistically, but culturally. And if they can pull it off quietly without leaks or drama, it shows a new level of professionalism from the organization. Still, not everyone is convinced this is the right move. Critics argue that Cook's best days are behind him. His production dipped significantly last season, and some wonder if his burst and agility are fading. Running backs don't usually age gracefully, and the wear and tear of the NFL takes its toll. There's also concern about his injury history. Cook has battled shoulder and hamstring issues over the years. Is it worth risking cap space and locker room chemistry for a player who might be past his prime? That's the debate raging across sports talk shows and fan forums alike. But for every doubter, there's a believer. Many think Cook's struggles in New York had more to do with system fit and opportunity than talent decline. If he finds the right environment, like McDaniel's creative offense, he could bounce back in a big way. It's a gamble, yes, but one that might pay off. Beyond the gridiron, there are marketing angles at play here too. The Dolphins have been leaning hard into their rebrand as a flashier, more modern team. Signing Cook would bolster that image, especially in a city like Miami where style matters almost as much as substance. Cook is a recognizable name, a fantasy football favorite, and someone who brings media attention wherever he goes. Pair him with stars like Hill and Waddle, and you've got a marketing dream. The Dolphins could turn him into a face of the franchise, even if only temporarily. Local endorsements, national interviews, primetime game slots. It all becomes more likely with Cook on the roster. And don't underestimate the recruiting power of a guy like DALVIN. Other veterans looking for a ring might be more inclined to join the Dolphins if they see a win-now mentality in action. That kind of momentum can snowball fast. As we wait for confirmation, one thing is clear. This isn't just another off-season rumor. It feels like something more. The pieces are aligning in a way that makes sense both on and off the field. Cook's Miami roots, the Dolphins' offensive needs, and the timing of his arrival all point to a deal that's either imminent or already done behind closed doors. Maybe it's a one-year trial run, or maybe it's the beginning of something bigger. Either way, the buzz is undeniable. Fans are dreaming of long touchdown runs and comeback stories. Analysts are sharpening their takes, and the rest of the AFC is suddenly paying very close attention. If Dalvin Cook really is joining the Dolphins, buckle up, because the 2025 NFL season just got a whole lot more interesting. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.